You might have seen my recent video taking a look at this TaylorMade Mini Driver. This is the 2024 model. I really loved it. I did not have to sacrifice too much more distance than my actual driver. It flew further than my 3-wood, and it was a whole heck of a lot more accurate than my driver. And off the deck, it also performed incredibly well. So it got me thinking, what if we take a look at a couple of other generations of the Mini Driver and see if we can actually save some money, because this guy was not too cheap. It cost me $449 secondhand. I found this 2014 slider Mini Driver from TaylorMade for $99, and then I found this 2021 model of the 300 Mini Driver from TaylorMade for $259. So we've got a $99 2014, we've got a $259 2021, and I've got a $459 2024 model. In 10 years, has there been a major improvement, or can you get away with something a little cheaper? We're going to explore that on today's video. First, I'm going to show you what makes each of these different, and then we're going to hit some shots to compare. Let's get to work. So here is the 2014 slider from TaylorMade. This is 12 degrees and it has no adjustability. That is one important thing that we will note. If you look at the top of this, you've got a nice silver crown to it. You've got this black striping, which I guess would help kind of in alignment in some ways, but you also have the TaylorMade little dot there to align the ball as well. Nice deep face, not super long from toe to heel, but it's a good looking club. A little bit bigger than a 3-wood and a little smaller than a driver. Does that mean it's the Goldilocks club? Is it just right? Now on this 2014, I have a TaylorMade Fujikura co-branded shaft on here. It looks like a Tensei shaft to me, but this one is 57 grams and stiff. Now our 2021 model here is the 300 Mini Driver. In 2021, as you can see, we've now got some adjustability. In fact, we can go up or down a couple of degrees. The face is not quite as deep as that 2014 slider, but I would say considerably longer from toe to heel here. So you've got more hitting surface overall. It's a bigger package. And if we go side by side here, you can see that overall, this is a bigger package here on my right. Now, instead of that silver, we've got a carbon fiber crown to it. We've got a little red back here that says 300, which again, you can maybe use as a bit of an alignment tool. But of course, you've also got the TaylorMade logo there up front. In terms of shaft on this club, well, we've got something new here as well. In fact, I've got a TaylorMade prototype. This is going to be a 65 gram shaft from Mitsubishi Chemical. Now, of course, you can also, since it's adjustable, swap out shafts here, but I want to play with what I've got here, and maybe in an upcoming video we'll swap it with the new shaft just to see if it changes anything. But I think this one's going to be pretty good. I tried it in the store and I liked what I saw. This one, by the way, kind of beat up if you look at it very closely, and if you want your clubs to look nice and stay looking nice longer, highly recommend you use our partner ShipSticks, who will get your golf clubs safely to your destination. You don't have to worry about baggage handlers mistreating your clubs like we've seen on some recent viral videos. I've got a code down below to save 20% on ShipSticks. That's how I travel with my clubs, at least. Let's take a look now at the 2024 edition. I've got to say, looking at the renderings of this driver online, I thought it was going to be kind of cheesy looking, but when I saw this in person, it's a really classy throwback design to those old TaylorMade burners. I love the copper and black here. It just looks really good with that old school retro logo on top. In terms of the face, I kind of think it's right in between those other two. This one's a little bit deeper than the 300 Mini and maybe a little bit longer from toe to heel than the slider was. It's right in between. You've got the old school TaylorMade logo there on the face of the club too, which is cool. You got it up top here as your alignment. And you've got this crown here, which really isn't matte, but it's also not really all that glossy either. It's somewhere in between. You see a little bit of the carbon fiber poking through there. It's a really good driver. Now, we've also got even more adjustability here in this hosel. We can go up or down 2 degrees. I've got this one at 13.5 degrees. If you noticed my 300 Mini Driver, it was at 11.5 degrees, so I turned that one up to match this one, and our slider there was at 12 degrees. In terms of the shaft, we've also got a 65 gram shaft on this one, but this is a Mamiya Pro Force. So a new shaft here in 2024. It's also color matched, which is cool. And your grip there harkens back to those retro days as well. If you remember playing golf in the 90s, you'll know this design, but it's also color matched to the entire package here. Very, very cool. But also $499 at MSRP. Like I said, I got it a little bit cheaper buying it used, but these things were sold out because people really seem to love these mini drivers. Let's put them to the work here and see if we can actually save some money though. First up, we'll go 2014. We're gonna go in chronological order. Slider is up. So you may have noticed there that we've actually got 3 different lofts in these clubs: 12 degree with the slider, 11.5 degree with the 300, and 13.5 degree with the new TaylorMade Mini Driver. Sometimes beggars just can't be choosers, especially when you're buying used. But what I try to do here is match the lofts as well as I can. This one, of course, at 12 degrees with the slider. I took the 300 up a degree and I took the 2024 model down a degree. So they're both sitting at about 12.5. So everything should be, again, as close as we can get it, again, with the shafts that are available as well. First up, here's the slider. Pretty good strike there. As you can see, that one is gonna be probably left side of a fairway, and we got some pretty nice distance there, rolled out to 252. Felt good off the face. And that's about the same distance I was seeing out of the 2024 model, but I think I might know where the 2024 model comes out on top. We'll see as we go though. Yeah, so that one was off the toe. I wanna let you know where the strike position is because it's gonna matter here. And we definitely lost some distance there. 230 was where it finished. It carried 215. Shot 3 here. A little bit better, but I pulled it. And again, as you can see, that one's hooking. We're gonna get a lot of rollout with that one. We're rolling into the mid 230s there. Backspin was lower, just above 2,000 RPM. And that one is definitely not going to hit a fairway. Shot 4. Better strike there. More like our first shot. That one carried just about 230, and it's gonna roll out to 246 there, so good number. If we're looking at spin, by the way, 2,900 there, which is a little bit more than a driver, and a little less than a 3-wood, exactly what you'd expect. Shot 5. That one was slightly heel side, and as you can see, we're getting a little bit more fade spin to it. Not a slice, luckily, but definitely a fade. And I would say that one's probably going to miss the fairway. So these things are pretty well dispersed. So in terms of feel, really good there, especially when you catch one in the middle. And you can feel on the club face where you're missing the shot, which is really important. You gotta have that feedback. But as you can see, the dispersion really wide there from left to right. And so we'll see if TaylorMade started to improve that here in 2021. The 300 is up next. All in all, I think what's surprising the most to me is the fact that these little mini drivers still squeak out some pretty good distant numbers for the swing speed that I swing at. As you can see there, I was probably around 97 or so on average. Woo! Now that one was similar to our 5th slider drive, a little bit heel side, and of course we're getting that same fade spin to it, but as you can see there, we didn't miss it quite as much there off to the right. And distance-wise, a pretty decent number there, carried 222, rolled down to 237, again, not center of the club face. Shot 2. That one was a little low, a little heel side. But again, a much more forgiving result. That's gonna find a fairway on just about every course in America. Shot 3. Better swing there. Again, slight fade to that one. So we'll see if we can straighten it out a little bit, but there you go, distance. Rolled out to 242. Very good number. Backspin again, 3,400. Carried 225. It's looking and feeling better than the slider in my opinion. Definitely the feel off the club face is more compressed. And we're getting a much more consistent swings here, aren't we? I still haven't found my little draw with this one. But again, really good distance number, and look how tightly dispersed those 4 are. 5th and final shot. Again, pretty good swing there. Close to the middle of the club face at least. And in terms of distance, that might be our best one. It rolled out to 248. On a 98 mile per hour club head speed, our ball speed was 141. Again, taking a look at this map, look how much more tight the dispersion is there with the 2021 model. As a reminder, I got this 2014 model for $99. This one cost me $259, but I think it's worth every penny if we're hitting more fairways with it. Because that's the reason you buy a mini driver and you take the big driver out of your bag, is because you want to be more consistent hitting more fairways. All right, 2024 model up next. I will say I like the looks of the 2024 best, even though it's that retro design, it looks the oldest. It's actually the newest, and to my eyes, it looks the best. Shot one. That one, I would say definitely toe side. And again, you see that with the right to left movement of that ball. But still, that is gonna find a fairway, and that is very, very long. In fact, it's the longest of them all. Even though the club head speed was only 98, just about where we're hitting everything here today, it carried 238, and it did roll to 263, but you're gonna get some top spin and some extra roll with a shot that comes off the toe. Let's see if we can straighten it out. Again, probably not my best swing. I over adjusted, but look at that distance again. These are easily covering the other two drivers in terms of distance, which is interesting. Shot three. That one was more in the middle. Very straight drive, in fact. It's gonna be right near that line. And again, distance number 251. Now we're talking very, very close to my driver distance. Shot four. Pretty good one there as well, although I'd say it was just slightly low on the club face. But overall, I think I find this 2024 model to be the most forgiving in terms of getting you the most distance, even out of off-center strikes. And those first two strikes were probably my worst of this entire session, but we still got all that distance. Fifth and final shot here. We end on a pretty good one there. Maybe slightly heel side again, that's why we're getting that left to right movement, but just a very, very forgiving driver in the 2024 model. And what's gonna be very interesting to me is look at the distance dispersion of the 2024 model. First of all, it covered just about every shot. I think it covered every single shot from the two previous generations, and my swing speed was not much different. We're gonna look at that. Now, no doubt about it, our best in terms of dispersion there was the 2021 model. Very, very tight. But if we talk about front to back dispersion, you got to give that one by far to the 2024, and overall it just squeaked out much more distance. Let's take a look at the stats here and make sure that we're as apples to apples as we can be here. And I'd say for the most part I am, especially with the 300 in the 2024 edition. The swing speed was a little less there, 96.2 with the slider, 97.5 with the 300 mini, 97.3 with the 2024. But look at efficiency. This is again where I think the 2024 model really comes out on top. It was 144 with the slider. It was 143 with the 300 mini, and the best 145 there with the 2024 model. So a very, very efficient club here in the 2024 mini driver from TaylorMade. And if you saw my video with my ping driver, the efficiency was the same. I think it was 1.46 that day on a little higher club head speed when I was testing those two head to head. But pretty incredible to go up against a 10K driver and at least match it in terms of efficiency. Pretty crazy. If we look at ball speed, 138.9 with the slider, 139.8. But again, another mile per hour in club head speed. So that makes sense. There's an extra mile per hour in ball speed there. The 2024 though, actually less club head speed, but as you can see, we've got more ball speed, almost by a full mile per hour there over the 300s. So definitely the 2024 is going to be the longest of the drivers and the most efficient, which overall is going to probably be the tightest dispersion on a golf course. Again, I do think those first two swings with the 2024 were probably the worst of the bunch. In terms of spin, a little over 3,100 there with the slider, 3,365 with the 300, and 2,565 with the 2024. We did have a bit of an outlier there on swing one, which again, that was a really bad swing. The contact there was way, way, way off the toe. In terms of peak height, 33 with the slider, 36, a little higher there with the mini, and 29 there with the 2024. So a little higher launching there, even though, again, I got those lofts as close as I could possibly get them. In terms of carry, 219 with the slider, 225 with the 300, 234, the best of the bunch by a very good margin, the 2024. That translated into 238, 241, and 255 respectively. So what do I think? I think there's clearly been an evolution here of the mini drivers. I was really hoping that my $99 choice would be about on par with the 2024, but it's just not there. Now, when you catch them in the middle, I think the distance can be very, very close between those models, but the big X factor is going to be those off-center hits. And it's mere mortals buying these drivers, and mere mortals don't always hit the center of the club face. At least this mere mortal doesn't always, and I need that extra forgiveness. That comes at almost a 5x price tag, especially if you're paying full MSRP of $499 for the 2024 edition, but even used, I'm paying over 4 times as much as I paid for the slider. So for me, I think if you want the most benefit, if you want to hit the most fairways, which is why you're buying or considering this type of driver, I think you've got to take a very hard look at the 2024, but that 2021, that could be a really good option too. If you're willing to sacrifice a few yards, it was very, very tightly dispersed as well. And again, having that extra adjustability, you can start to fine tune what you need to do with the club a little better. So if it was me, I skip the slider, I go to the 2021 as my minimum, and if I can stretch my budget, of course, I'm looking at the 2024. What do you think? Let me know down there in the comments if you've tried any or all of these for yourself. Again, I know it wasn't a complete, perfect apples to apples because we're using different shafts, we're using slightly different lofts. But for me, I am very confident in my analysis. In fact, I've tested this and retested this a few different times with pretty much the exact same results as you saw here today. Hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, again, hit that subscribe button and I'll catch you back here next time on another edition of Let's Play Further.